Dobbins being possibly the surprise candidate for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Now, he said, I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Why?
I'm talking about how little money's actually attached there. But I'm with you so that would tell me that Jaleel, Audric, Bidet, somebody else that we're not thinking of just exploded onto the scene and cannot be taken off the football field. And I think there's about a 0.0000001% chance of that actually happening. Will RJ take this job and run with it? At some point, I believe he will. But this team's going to need JK Dobbins all season long.
Yeah, JK Dobbins is more likely to be your week 1 starter and your leading rusher in the regular season than he is to be cut.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he's not the leading rusher because RJ Harvey takes over in week 5 or whatever, but no. It's not J.K. Dobbins. If we to go surprise cut, it's probably someone coming off an injury like an Alex Singleton.
Oh, wow.
As much as I don't want that to happen, that would make more sense. There's a savings involved there. PJ Locke, there's also a savings involved. I believe it's about $3 million for PJ Locke, top of my head.
PJ wouldn't be as big a surprise, but Alex would.
Yeah, and Alex, I believe it's like $4 million.
Yeah.
Something like that. And that's where, maybe Drew Sanders takes this step and they feel really good about the health of Dre Greenlaw and Justin Cernot is back to be a special teams player and reserve linebacker. They've got a roster crunch. They've got some tough decisions. George Paton, I do not. George he's going to get some gray hairs over this next, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever the number is, in terms of trying to make these decisions to build this roster because guys like PJ Locke could start and might not make the team.
Yeah.
Alex Singleton is a starter and might not make the team. Now, again, that's, pie in the sky type stuff, but those two make more sense than saying J.K. Dobbins would get cut. I don't see that at all.
Alex Singleton is actually a name I didn't think about, but I think is right there. We got to monitor and watch what he does. Does he have that same burst coming off the injury? And then what does Drew Sanders look like when he does get the opportunity?
Yes.
Maybe that's something that would be a great problem for the Broncos to have. Drew Sanders looks great, and Alex has lost a step a little bit because of the injury. Because you and I have talked about this. Let's just say that's the case in this hypothetical scenario. Drew and Greenlaw are your starters. I would be very excited about Singleton as the depth piece over Stranad as the depth piece.
Oh, yeah.
I know
yeah.
Singleton would hate it, but that's just the way the game goes, and you still have a pretty key role as a backup inside linebacker.
Hey, Josie Jewell's out there, right?
Yeah, he got cut yesterday.
I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine. We'll go get another linebacker.
Yeah. What was concussions for Josie Jewell? He couldn't recover?
I believe so, yes.
That's scary stuff, too.
Yeah, it is. It is. But guys make decisions. Hell, Dallin Holker retired.
Yeah.
He just got in the league last year, and he retired.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I think there's a little bit of I see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, and he was never going to be Trey McBride.
Yeah.
That was the thing. He was the guy that followed McBride at CSU.
And I liked Holker last year.
Yeah, I like the kid a lot. Great hair, and a great story, great Ram. But yeah, he retired today. So,
Didn't he have the one-handed catch at the combine because he forgot the route?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that got people's attention. He got some attention at the Shrine Bowl as well. So for me, it's okay, surprise cut. There's going to be more than one because the decisions are so tough.
I have a couple of names. Audric Estime I don't think would be a big of a surprise, but he's a name here that could be cut. Would Jaleel McLaughlin being cut surprise you?
No, but I think he's in Penn. So
yeah, I'm not in Penn yet there, but I think it might surprise people just because he had a big role a year ago.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I look at that. Hey, you're looked at as a starter or you're fighting for a spot and had a big role a year ago, and that might make people go, whoa. Wait a minute.
Well,
why are you cutting that guy?
Now I'm going to give you some, ammo for your argument here. He had a big role. Didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
As I was bagging on Javonte Williams yesterday, I have to say the same for Jaleel.
Yeah.
You have the number one run blocking line in football, and you can't do anything? Huh? And you're super fast? Again, I think Jaleel's in Penn because he's more of a scat back. I don't look at Jaleel as more than a special teams gadget guy.
Well, and then special
maybe
teams,
taking over for Marvin Mims in that role as Mims steps into more of a full-time receiver role and a great return man, Pro Bowl level, instead of being, I think it was Bill Barnwell that said, Marvin Mims is the ultimate gadget player. Maybe that's Jaleel this year. As Mims becomes, I'm a real boy. I'm a real wide receiver. And they learn how to use him correctly because it took them a while. They didn't know how to use him for a year and a half, basically.
Wow, how about this? Kevin finding the numbers for us. PJ Locke, a cut would save the Broncos $4.1 million.
Okay.
Singleton would save him $5.5 million.
Wow, so I was $1 million off on each.
Yeah, those are huge numbers.
Oh, yeah. So
you
saving
better
some
be
money.
right, Alex.
Saving some money, and maybe that's money used to go in a different direction at a position of need because of another injury or something. Like, you just have roster flexibility, but there's going to be more than one surprise cut. More than one. Because there are too many tough decisions. You have 6 pass rushers that all need to make the 53 somehow, some way. I don't know how.
So they went down to 47.
Yeah.
47
They
spots.
have 6 pass rushers that you can't dare expose to the practice squad. 6. Johnny Walker will be a darling. I think the darling, though, is Pat Bryant.
I wrote his name down, too. Well, let me give you one more.
Surprise?
And I know.
There's no surprises.
I know that you said they get 3 years, but would you be surprised if Troy Franklin got cut? What if he's out there just dropping everything again? Why would they keep him if he was doing it?
You don't have to hate Troy.
I don't hate
hate Troy.
I hate his hands. Love the guy. Hate his hands.
You're awesome. Your hands stink. And you're a wide receiver, so that's kind of important.
Yeah. But would that surprise people? Because it is
it
pulling the
would.
plug
It
a little
would.
early.
It would. Yeah, it would surprise,
All
for
right.
sure.
So there's another one there that we will be keeping an eye on.
Thanks for those numbers, Kevin.
Yes, thank you, Kev. And then as far as the darlings, I wrote down Pat Bryant. I don't know that we'd be able to see it as much with my next 2 names because I don't know that we'd see it at all with Jonah Ellis. But like if he's in the backfield over and over and over again, I think that's a name. And then Barron is a name I wrote down because he might be a darling for me because I'm going to watch him play cornerback, inside, safety, maybe a linebacker spot, depending on what the other side looks like. I'm just intrigued because I think that dude could line up everywhere except for like edge rusher.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he could be exciting to watch for fans out there, whether it's training camp or you're watching some highlights, on YouTube or whatever. Like, I think that Barron, Bryant, this rookie class can be darlings. Back to the pass rushers, they're on my mind. Is Q Robinson the real deal or not? He was a stud at rookie minicamp, batting down passes, getting pressures. He was a stud at OTAs. He was a stud at mandatory minicamp. So if we just go with the trend is Q Robinson, they got a real steal here in the draft. Now it's training camp. Now it's preseason.
Now it's real.
Now you're going to get really, really tested in a way that you weren't in any sort of minicamp, mandatory or otherwise.
Yeah, it's another one that I had kind of forgot about, but it's how much. Well, they're still going. I was going to ask you, like, how much different do you think the veterans, like today, the veterans, it's on. Was it as on, if you will, like during those OTAs
Probably
and
not.
minicamp? Like, yeah, they're
Probably
gearing
not.
down a little bit, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
And today it's almost like, especially if you're one of those vets on the offensive line, you're like, all right, young fella, you're about to learn what this league is about today.
Yes, and that's where guys like Johnny Walker, the undrafted rusher, he has to prove himself. He's one of those 6 edge rushers they got to keep. Dondrea Tillman still has to prove himself. Jonah Ellis, we'll see what his health status is there. A lot of interesting players, and if we just stick with rookies, the overlooked player, because we talk some about Q Robinson, we talk a lot about Jade, we talk a lot about Pat Bryant, and RJ Harvey, of course. We can't forget Savion Jones at all whatsoever. At all. Like, he was as studly as Q Robinson was, and that's more of an edge, so it's like a sexier thing, and people can see it immediately. Point blank period, and this is very offensive, but get as offended as you like. There's a lot of reporters that don't know football.
What they're watching?
Yes.
Yeah.
Andrew Mason does.
He does.
So when Mason and I watch practice and we're like, Savion's doing it every day. Other people are noticing Q Robinson because it's an edge, and you're going to notice an edge. But when you notice the defensive lineman, the guy that's getting in there with rip and swim and burst, like, Savion Jones is a player. And that could tie into any sort of financial decisions for Malcolm Roach, John Franklin Myers, not necessarily Zach Allen. I'm not saying Savion's Zach Allen replacement, but, like, you have JFM who wants a new deal. Morgan Freeman voice. He's not going to get it.
No, he's not.
Malcolm Roach. We don't even talk about Malcolm Roach wanting a new deal. He's not going to get it.
Nope.
Why? It's probably because of Savion Jones. That kid can play.
Again, good problems to have if you're the Denver Broncos. That
Yeah,
means you're
but
drafting
problems.
and signing well
Yeah.
in free agency.
Yeah, so, get ready. 5 surprise cuts for the Broncos. Like, okay. Give me